I'm already regretting this decision because it's freaking cold. Why do I do these things? Yes, inspired by the name of the palette, I too am naked today. Oh, hello! Welcome back to my Chanel. Today's video is something very different for me in a lot of ways. I was recently sent the new Urban Decay Naked Wild West palette, so instead of doing a normal makeup tutorial video, I thought, inspired by the name, that I would do it while completely naked. Because why not? So if you'd like to see how I got this look while being completely nude, keep watching. Before we begin, I wanted to give a quick shout out to a small business who recently sent me some amazing bedazzled goodies. And that is Crafty Tinker's Shop. They are based in the UK and they do custom and pre-made bedazzling. They made me this amazing water tumbler that says Vessel of Blood on it, and this was all done by hand. I love the trees, the little bats. It is so beautiful and sparkly, and I love that it has my name on it. And to go along with that, they also made me this Vessel of Blood hand mirror. I love it. It is so gorgeous and sparkly. They also bedazzled these beautiful purple earrings that I'm wearing with little bats on them. And they also bedazzled the makeup brushes I'll be using in this video. Look how shiny these are. Even though I do enjoy the darker side of life, I also love shiny things, so this is perfect. If you'd like to check them out, I'll leave their links down below in the description box. So without further ado, let's dive in. So here we have the Naked Wild West palette. I love the packaging, it is absolutely stunning. I mean, Urban Decay has always killed it with their packaging in my opinion, but this is gorgeous. So, the inside of the palette looks like this. There we go. It's very pretty, but reminds me a lot of the Anastasia Subculture palette, which I actually own, so let me go grab that. I almost stood up in front of the camera. Let's turn you off first. So here is Subculture by Anastasia, and while it's not exactly the same color story, it reminds me of it a lot. I mean, there's definitely some similarities. We have a lot of the same brown tones, some greens, so they're similar but not exactly the same. So first I'm priming my eyes using the P. Louise base in shade, what shade is this? 0.5. I'm also gonna zoom you in. That's always something that bugs me when I see makeup tutorials specifically on eyes, when they just film from so far away you can't even see what they're doing. And as you can see, I'm taking a fluffy brush and just putting that all over my eyeball. Since I'm going to be doing a cut crease type of look, I'm going to be focusing the primer up in this area as well as bringing it out to my eyebrow, or where it used to be. And if I have any leftovers, I like to bring it down underneath my eyeball as well. So to apply all of these shadows, I'm going to be using all my new bedazzled brushes. Very excited about these. They're so sparkly. So I think first I'm going to take the smallest one that I have because I want to carve out my crease. And the first shade I'm going to be dipping into is this beautiful dark green called Tex. So far this shade is very pigmented and it's going on quite easily, so I am a fan because that green in the Anastasia palette was very hard for me to work with. This is always the hardest part for me, getting the right shape when it comes to a cut crease. Because it's different for everyone's eye because everyone's eyes are not created equal. Not too shabby. And now I'm dipping into the last shade of the palette called Pony Up. I wanted to do something different with this look because when I looked up the Naked Wild West hashtag on Instagram, all I saw were pretty much the same looks over and over again. It was a brown and green smoky eye. And no shade to anyone who's doing that, the looks are amazing, but I just wanted to do something different. So, this. I'm just placing that Pony Up shade towards the end of the wing that we're doing for the cut crease. I love how pigmented these shades are. It does not take a lot to get good color payoff. And now I'm going to do the same thing going inwards. I'm going to use the shades Whiskey and Ghost Town. Still using that same brush, I haven't wiped it off. It's one of my favorite things to do when doing eye looks like this, is just use the same brush. I don't know why, I just enjoy doing that. It also gives me less brushes that I have to clean at the end of the day. So again, just very lightly. I'm not taking the color too far up because I want to be able to blend it later. Just putting that right on top of the green. So that's the shade Whiskey. And now I'm using the color Ghost Town, which is the lighter brown. I do love the names of all the shades in this palette. I grew up watching a lot of Western shows like Bonanza with my family, and I also had a horse growing up, so I'm quite familiar with all the terminology of Cowboys. And I think to finish this off, I'm going to use the lightest shade in the palette, which is called Standoff. Just to blend that green into my inner corner. It's almost exactly the same color as my skin tone, which is perfect. Hardly even see I did anything. Alright, there we go. Looks super messy, but trust the process, right? I'm gonna try taking this clean, fluffy blending brush and just blend out those edges. Now that I've got it all blended out, the fun part is carving out the crease. And I'm going to be doing that again with my P. Louise base, and I'm going to be using a really tiny Wet n Wild brush. And when it comes to cutting your crease, everyone's eye shape is different, so I just try to follow the curve of my lid. Also, doing it while looking straight ahead in a mirror with your eye open is a really good way to see how it looks. I'm pretty happy with that, so I'm going to do that on the other side. Alright, so as you may have noticed, I drew the green a little too low for where I wanted to do my crease, so now it is blended in with the base to make a lovely light green shade. And while it doesn't look bad, it's not exactly what I wanted, so I'm going to have to figure out what I want to do about that. Because originally my plans were to use this beautiful shade Cowboy Rick, this one right here, all over my lid, but I'm not sure if it'll cover the green. Let's find out. I'm going to use this flat packing brush. One thing I will say about shimmer shades like this, they usually go on best when applied with a finger, and even though it is going on with this brush, I think it's safe to say that if I really want to get the most out of this color, I should apply it with my finger. But I am going to try it with the brush first. It does look really gorgeous on the lid. So that's what it looks like with the brush. Now I'm going to try with my finger. Oh yeah, way faster coverage, a lot more shiny. Gorgeous. The amount of pigment I'm getting from using my finger is insane. I kind of want to scrap the look at this point. I'm not super happy with it, but I do like how I put the shade Bud, which is a light metallic green, on top here in the crease, and I blended it down into the shade Cowboy Rick. So I do like that blend. I just wish the dark green was still in the top of the cut crease. So now I'm just adding a little bit more of that dark green shade called Tex into the crease line. I'm using an Urban Decay brush. I'm also putting a little bit of this shade called Hold'em in the outer corner of my eyes. Dabbing that on with my finger. Very lightly, just in the outer corners. And now I'm going to do something very daring. I'm going to use the shade Tex as eyeliner. I'm going to be using this angled brush. I'm just going to dip right into the shadow and pray. I am pleasantly surprised by how well this is going on right now. Because I'm not using a mixing medium or anything, I'm just tapping it onto my eye. And I'm switching to that smaller Urban Decay brush to get right in the inner corner there. And now that I'm happy with my shape, I'm going to do the exact same thing on the other eye. So after a little bit of finagling, here we go. Here is the eye look so far. I like it a lot more now than I did before. And I also did the hooded eyeliner trick where I put it a little bit into my crease so that when my eyes close it looks like it goes straight across. I'm loving the shade Texas eyeliner. I think it looks really pretty, very Slytherin. I also want to use that same shade in my lower lash line to make it very smoky. So first I'm going in with a pencil from KVD Beauty in the shade Lemmy, just to give the shadow something to stick to. There we are, messy, but it works. And as you can see, I used my finger to blend them out. And I'm going to take that first I'm going to take that first flat packing brush earlier that we used and just pack the shade Tex all over that pencil. And then I'm going to buff that out using the shade Ghost Town. I'm also connecting the bottoms of the eyes to the wing. So there, the eyeballs are looking pretty shiny if you ask me. I think I'm gonna do the rest of my face, pop on some lashes, and then give my final thoughts. There we go, all done. Looking pretty snazzy if I do say so myself. It's grown on me a lot. I think that's usually my thought process when I'm doing something new, is that when I'm doing it, I hate it, and then when it's all finished, I like it a lot more. I think my favorite shadows are the toppers. The sparkle and shine on those is unreal. And I actually really like the silver, gold, and light green mixed together. So, happy accident, as Bob Ross would say. And in case anyone is curious, my lipstick is a mix of two colors from My Nina Makeup. These are a new formula that they just came out with. And fun fact, I'm actually their lip model on their website, so if you go check them out, you'll see my lips. And these are in the shades Chelsea and Shira. I used Chelsea along the outside and Shira in the middle. So that about wraps it up for this video where I do my makeup using the new Naked palette. while I'm actually naked. Hope you enjoyed. I had fun. This is definitely something different for me to do. You've been requesting a makeup tutorial for a long time, so I hope you enjoyed this one. I'm a big fan of the Urban Decay eyeshadow formula. I just wish they had more colorful palettes. That being said, I do love the color story of this one. And thank you again to Crafty Tinkers for bedazzling my life. I love how sparkly everything is. I hope you're having a wonderful day or night wherever you are, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.